What's up, guys? Welcome to the Dropshipping and No Bullshit podcast. We have Preston here. So I want to introduce Preston first, and then you introduce yourself, right?
Okay, great.
So Preston is from the US. Those of you guys who don't follow me on YouTube or Instagram, we have this thing called the Dropship House. I had something called Grind Camp. I invite people to come to stay here in Nicaragua who's done things that I would like to learn from. And Preston is one of those people. And he's also the only human that I know that I talk about dropshipping on eBay, Amazon, and Shopify. And you are the only person that I know, only human that I know that successfully runs eBay, Amazon, and Shopify dropshipping businesses relatively long term. Even when you lost eBay, you got back. So I think that's cool as fuck. And that is kind of what I want to talk about. But that's who, in my head, and you're also the calmest person I know.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, my name's Preston. I am originally from California, currently a resident of Nevada. I don't have any plans to ever move back to California. But yeah, I have a kind of a unique relationship and perspective on Mark. I feel like I'm the person that's been able to see like everything that's been going on these past few years, like from behind the scenes, just because I've spent so much time around Mark, kind of like in the vicinity of all the things he's building and doing.
Yeah, like even before I had a child.
Yeah, that's true.
You were like, you've seen everything. Anyway, yeah. So I want to talk about today. First, I want you to talk about your drop shipping start. If I remember correctly, it was in Shopify.
Yeah.
And then we just see where it goes from there, right? We'll talk about the eBay, Amazon stuff, the differences, how you can manage all three and what it takes and all this stuff.
Yeah, okay. So I can just tell you like my story, I guess. So I went to university in California, just to a state school right next to my house. I didn't want to like move out of state to go to school, take on debt. Like I had that perspective.
Right. It was a financial decision.
Yeah, I'm like, why do smart business people go to really expensive business schools to go into a lot of debt? Like that doesn't make any sense. So I just went to like my state school next to my house, drove there, commuted. So I was able to save money that way, get a decent education, not go into debt. So I was very happy about that. I studied business management and accounting, but by my senior year, I knew like I just can't really see myself like being an accountant or like sitting at a desk job every day. Like that thought just kind of depressed me. So I think I was really open to, I don't know, other alternative types of living or making money. So I guess I was listening to a lot of podcasts while working for my family business. So I would drive a truck delivering foods to catering events. So on my commutes, I would listen to different podcasts and somehow got into learning about e-commerce and ways to make money on the internet. So that really intrigued me. The podcast that interested me a lot or kind of introduced me to e-commerce businesses was called Travel Like a Boss. So the host of that podcast talked about his Shopify business that he started while living in Thailand. So eventually I purchased that course and was committed to making it work. And so that's where I first started learning about e-commerce, was from that course. And through that, I built my first Shopify store. It took probably 2 months at least just to choose like what type of products I wanted to sell and to actually build it. And
like it took 2 months to choose a niche and
like
the products and everything.
Yeah, like learn how to actually build the website and then set up the business structure and call companies and get accounts with them and just figuring it all out and setting up the marketing to get advertising going. So that's how I started. And I'm trying to remember how long I did that for before I actually booked a ticket to Thailand and went to Thailand.
Okay.
So I was probably doing that for maybe 6 months, just doing that while still working in my family's business. But yeah, I landed like an internship type thing, you could say, with Johnny, who was the host of that podcast, to start another Shopify store with him.
So before you get there, so that's 6 months, right? You set up the store, 2 months, 6 months run it while working. Was it making any money?
Yeah, I was making some money, not as much as I make from it now, but yeah, a little bit.
And this is the first store you started?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And why do you think, have you interacted with other people that have tried to start stores and actually finished the store and failed? Or like, do you think, I don't know if you've interacted with enough people who do Shopify to know the differences, right, between you and...
Yeah, I didn't ever interact with anyone personally, but I remember going on the forums and like just reading as many forum threads as I could from people who had questions about maybe the problems they were facing in their business. And I would like send people a bunch of messages like, hey, how's it going? Are you still running your store? And that type of thing. But no, I never personally interacted with anyone. But I had like the belief that, okay, I know that people are making it work, so I know I can do it.
Okay. So you just chose, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know like what the success or fail rate is.
Right.
But I knew I could do it. That was
I think that's, so a lot of times, this is going to go off a bit, but a lot of times when I see any level of success, it usually, so you saying you believe you could do it because other people could do it. I always ask people why they think, like, most success in business comes from you doing something you didn't do before, right? And even small things, like when I see guys that work here at NIAT and stuff who started the whole videography thing but didn't initially start that, I always wanted to figure out why you thought you could do it, right? And it's when people get in, part of what I try to do is like show success for that same reason, because as long as you just kind of like, okay, if someone else did it, it took some time, it took a little bit of money, I have the time and money, like I could do it also. I think too many people get into things and just like they don't even believe they could do it. And then, you know what I mean? Like I think the internet's full of so much nonsense, so people get into it. They're like, let me just try it because I see people talking about it. It might be a good way to make a lot of money.
Yeah, but if they don't have that commitment, then it'll, like any small reason will be the reason, like, oh, okay, it's not worth it, or it won't work for me. Right.
So the 6 months you made some money, and then you went to Thailand.
Yeah.
And then you built this store with.
Yeah. So basically, like what you did with the dropship house, it felt kind of similar over there because there was maybe 8 of us who were all like meeting a couple times a week, just talking about what we needed to do that week to build the next store. Yeah.
But all 8 of those people partnered with
Johnny.
Yeah. Oh, gee. So he had, and were all 8 stores successful? Like
no.
Okay.
Because some people dropped out, or maybe they just stopped. Yeah, just stopped.
Okay.
But yeah, that was his intention, to like have everyone build store together, and then after a year sell it, and then he would take maybe X percentage,
whatever percentage,
25% or something.
Okay. And so that store you did with Johnny, you have that store still?
Yeah, I still have that store. So the problem with business partnerships is if one partner is a silent partner and the dropshipping business model doesn't require like capital investment, if someone's not going to actively try to grow the store, once you've already like learned like the type of knowledge that they have, there's really no motivation for me to continue to try really hard to grow the store when I have a 25% anchor pulling me down. So I did eventually buy out his equity, so I still have that store, but I haven't like actively focused on growing it. I just kind of let it sit there and make a few $100s a month right now.
Okay. All right, so you've been doing, and when was this? When did you start this whole dropshipping?
2000, it had to have been 2016.
Right, so 3 years. So you've had one store, I guess, for about 3 years, and the second store for what, like 2 years, 2.5 years?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so that was your first kind of in. Then,
while I was in Thailand, just being around, it's in the city of Chiang Mai, Thailand, so it's like kind of like a popular place where other location independent type people travel to. It's just like a cheap city, great infrastructure, lifestyle, everything. So people go there. So it's pretty easy to meet other people doing internet related
yeah.
businesses. So that's when I discovered that people were doing eBay retail arbitrage dropshipping.
Okay.
And I took the David Vu Udemy course for $10.
Right.
And I was able, he was actually speaking at the Nomad Summit. So I got to meet him and just ask him a few questions after I'd watched the course. So yeah, I was interested in that probably because like I realized it's a good idea to continue learning and diversify my skills. And the fact that when I have a Shopify business that has a phone number that people can call and the time difference is 14 hours, it's like, okay, how can I do another business that doesn't require me to be awake at odd hours to answer phone calls or customer service related issues? So that's what interested me in eBay dropshipping. So I started doing that while I was there.
Okay, so you've been doing eBay dropshipping, what, 2 years now?
Yeah, at least.
And so the difference is there's less, I wouldn't say responsibility, but I guess the customer service levels that you have to do would be a little less.
That's the main thing that drew me to it. From experience now, I find it's like more logical or simple to scale because why? Because the process is more repetitious, whereas with my Shopify store, it feels like it's such a small, like there's less products to choose from. So making decisions is more like difficult from a mathematical or analytical type perspective, whereas
each product is a higher percentage of what could go wrong, I guess.
Yeah, so it's just harder to determine because like you only get so many views on that product and you have to determine, okay, should I bid more, bid less, not bid at all? Like it's just a more difficult like business to understand in my opinion. But with eBay, it felt more simple to understand in terms of, okay, if I'm making this much money from this many products, then I can just do that many more products and hopefully see similar results. So I like that part about the eBay business and the fact that I could work from hours that didn't require me to be awake in the middle of the night if I was not in the US, and I could kind of batch my work. For example, like, okay, place my orders from the previous day within this hour and then answer all the emails within this hour. Whereas if I have a Shopify store with customers, like I need to be able to sit by the phone and call them back, or else I'll lose the sale most likely because they'll call some other company who's selling the same product.
Well, yeah, because of the type of product it is. Yeah. Jesus. Okay, and then, but how does the money compare? Do you think?
I've always made more money on eBay selling retail arbitrage products.
Right, but generally you can't sell the eBay store. So I think that is
right. That's true.
And what is your feelings about that? Right, like I was talking to you about the whole dropshipping thing in another context of it being just like it provides cash, right? But it's not an asset per se. What are your feelings about that? If you compare the work that it took to build and sustain Shopify with the option of selling after and the work and how much money you make and the time, and then same with eBay.
Yeah, it's really difficult. I guess it just depends what you enjoy doing more. But for me, the ROI has been better on eBay, I would say.
Okay.
But I'm still happy to continue to run my Shopify store because it doesn't take so much time. But I still have the intention to sell it. But yeah, I kind of flip-flop on that all the time because I've had it for years and I've said, oh, I'm going to sell it.
Yeah, but that's kind of like what you do every day. So.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you've been in eBay 2 years to around 2 years. You make more on eBay. How have you tried Amazon?
Yeah.
How long?
It's probably been almost a year that I started on Amazon.
Yeah. It feels like
it's because I haven't gone full steam on it. I've kind of just like been taking
jumped
it really
in a
slow.
bit, sold a bit, come back out, jump in. Yeah.
Like
it has been a year.
I've been selling the entire year, but I just haven't like pushed it hard. I've kind of just like I'm scared of it. It's like a beast, so I kind of just
Yeah, it's hard to like you under control. Let's
Yeah.
not mess around too much. And okay, money wise again,
hmm
the three: eBay, Amazon, Shopify. You still make more on eBay,
Yeah.
but you make some on Amazon and some
Uh-huh.
on Shopify.
hmm
And how do you split your time? Like, what does your day look like? Like, if someone else wants to run these three businesses
hmm
and you're still remote independent, you still do whatever you want, you're not like I can't leave here for 3 months and sleep. Like, how do you split your time in managing these three different businesses and still don't have employees, I guess, physically with you? Like, what does your day look like? Like, what is...
I would say it's mostly just a couple hours of day of, how do you say it? Like treading water, like doing the things to keep them at a stable level.
Right.
But if I need to grow them, then I need to put in a lot more hours. So it's a balance of growing the business and stopping it from declining, but then also maintaining it. So I guess most
Right.
of my time is spent just maintaining it, doing the customer service, orders, keeping on top of my virtual assistants and handling the questions they have for me to do the things they need to do.
And how many virtual assistants do you have?
Just 2, and they work part-time, maybe between them, just like 20 hours a week. One of them places orders and handles some eBay customer service questions. And the other one also places some orders for some eBay and some Amazon. So on Amazon, I sell some products from AliExpress, but then also some retail arbitrage stuff on Amazon. But he is able to do the orders for both of those.
So you do both retail arbitrage on Amazon and AliExpress.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how does that split? How does
That's where I started with Amazon.
Right. Yeah. I remember you.
Private labeling
Yeah,
products.
you were here.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
private labeling products from AliExpress with my own brand name and shipping them from China with long lead times.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I started with. I probably put up maybe 40 listings. Yeah,
And they're still there.
yeah, most of them are still there. I took down one brand because I heard that brand, or that, I don't know what to say, they were sending out IP violations, so I just took it down as a preemptive thing.
Okay.
Because that happened to be my bestseller, but I took it down.
Right.
Yeah, but those products still sell, for like a year straight.
Wow. Okay. And then how much in your Amazon account? How much is retail arbitrage and how much is from China? What percent?
So maybe it's like 30 listings of AliExpress items, but lots of variations.
Right.
And then retail arbitrage products, maybe only like 100 items, I would say.
Okay.
But the sales are pretty much always less than 1,000 a day at this point.
Right. And
so just a few hundred.
And the margins are what? The margins are bigger on the AliExpress stuff or on the...
Yeah, the margins are definitely there on the AliExpress stuff because it's just all front end margin. Whereas with the retail arbitrage stuff, most of the margin is through discounted gift cards.
Okay. And why wouldn't you, what is the fear of scaling Amazon? Either way, whether it is you keep doing the AliExpress stuff or you keep doing, you have both there, right? What is the hold back? What is the fear of scaling?
The reason why I don't scale the AliExpress stuff is it took a lot of time to actually make the product listings. So I think the time I spent investing in those product listings wasn't worth it. So that's why I'm not at this time continuing to add more. But I'm just happy to keep on selling the ones that I already put the work into.
Right.
And then the retail arbitrage stuff, it's just, let's see. I don't know exactly, but it's just like I'm not sure what the right is, but like a reticence to just have issues with them freezing funds or banning me, or I don't know, scaling issues with just, I don't know exactly what it is.
I mean, that's how I used to treat eBay when you hit about 100,000. Now I treat eBay when you hit about 50,000, like that, right? When you cross a certain amount of sales, you just generally end up with a lot of problems that you don't get when you have low sales.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what scared me about scaling eBay is I remember the first time Walmart started canceling a lot of orders. I had over 100 orders canceled, and I had to figure out how to fulfill them. And so I kind of always kind of stayed away from a certain number just because I didn't want to see that problem again. Mm-hmm. So I could kind of see that.
I think for me, I was running into challenges like finding items, because I would do a lot of research to find the items, but then not find the margin if I'm looking at products from, let's say, Home Depot or Walmart. So spending a lot of time looking for the items, but then not finding ones that I felt were good enough to spend the time listing if I had to rely on just back-end margin. Right. So I'm kind of moving towards the direction of wanting to sell products that have front-end margin, but I don't have like the wholesale connections to do that. And I haven't put enough time into learning other suppliers outside of the traditional retail arbitrage suppliers.
Right. And you're happy with how long you think you'll just manage these 3 bit? Like, what's the plan?
Yeah, I don't know. Because, I don't think I'm happy with where I'm at with Amazon. Like, I know I could do better, but for whatever reason, like, I kind of just have recently kind of lost a little bit of motivation to do that. I'm not sure what it is, but that's where I'm at right now.
So you spend most of your time focused on eBay, you think?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. And none of the changes with eBay. So you've been doing eBay for 2 years, right? You've seen a lot of the changes. I've been doing for long. Like, I've seen insane amount of changes compared with when we first started. None of these changes worries you. None of these changes. Like, I remember when eBay shut down your store and everything, and you just kind of like put in the time and got everything back up. It took maybe weeks or like a month or 2 or something. Yeah. And you got everything back up, and which was very admirable. I spoke about that on the YouTube channel. A lot of people let these roadblocks just like, fuck, I'm done. Mm-hmm. Yeah, none of the eBay changes worries you?
Yeah, they do worry me. That's a big worry. Maybe that's a reason why I don't go so hard into Amazon, is maybe I'm worried like I'll spend a lot of time and that's not worth it. Just get shut down or something.
So how I look at it, like, I remember like eBay is a kind of like wild west. They change. Amazon with retail arbitrage, we know we're breaking the terms of service. They know we're breaking the terms of service. They just kind of like let people do it once your metrics are good. Mm-hmm. So that's why I personally prefer Amazon. I kind of know the playing field that I'm on. Even though I'm breaking the terms of service, I just know what the rules are, and like I'm playing there. And Amazon kind of like sticks to their rules. They focus on the customer. They're growing. They're still growing, and like they just want you to give good customer service. When eBay, I feel like I still make money in eBay. We still manage email accounts and all that stuff, but I feel like eBay just changes too much.
They do change so much. But I feel like, coming from the other's perspective, at least I can talk to someone and plead my case if something goes wrong, or if a buyer does something that I don't agree with. Whereas with Amazon, there just doesn't seem to be anything you can do.
No, yeah. There's little that you could do if Amazon turns on you. That's the thing. And they don't talk to you. Sometimes, I remember we were looking at a suspension letter from Amazon, and it says, don't expect us to respond to any more of your communication.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous.
But they're gangster. Like, they are completely focused on the customer, which is interesting, right? But that's also why eBay as a company is... That's the other thing. eBay has to focus more on their sellers, because eBay does not sell anything. Mm-hmm. Right?
Not
yet. Right?
Yeah.
And like, So that's the whole thing. I think eBay is moving a lot like Amazon. The changes on the platform, what they focus on, they're losing customers to Amazon. I mean, their whole platform is full of mush.
Like, for example, on eBay, now you will see, like, they put in red text, like, you should have shipped this already. Like,
Yeah.
So soon, I think they'll start enforcing, like, metrics. They don't seem to be doing anything about
They're
that
not
right
enforcing it now, but
Yeah.
they're going to have to. But I think eBay, that's the crazy thing about eBay. They have to, there's so much humans involved, right? Amazon, like eBay has to depend 100% on 25 million humans that are selling on their platform. 100%. Amazon depends on much less sellers, and Amazon sells half of their inventory, so they're not going to lose customers because. So I think eBay is balancing a lot more, and I think most humans are idiots. So like there's more mush involved in the whole eBay platform because you're just taking mush and multiplying it and multiplying it and multiplying it. Where Amazon has a lot more automation involved in the entire process as a company. And I don't know how eBay is going to be able to. They should never compete as a platform that lets people sell, but I don't know. At the end of the day, everyone is competing for the money of the buyer, right? And people buy on eBay for a reason, and people buy on Amazon because of trust and speed and all this stuff. I just think eBay doesn't, just the fact that the CEO of eBay resigned a month or two ago, you know that, and I'm going to do a video about this for YouTube. I think you kind of know that they don't know what direction they're going in. Because CEOs usually resign if the board of directors kind of like ask them to resign in a kind of cool way.
Okay.
I kind of like resign or we'll kick you off kind of thing. Or if the CEO doesn't believe that he could run the company the way he should, or if he doesn't agree with the direction that they're going. And then even if we don't know why he left, I read a little bit about it. I don't think he made some statements, but there's always some politically correct nonsense. So I don't think we could make any assumptions about why he left. But I know that when a CEO of a company leaves, there's a lot. Like what direction? This is the head of the company. This is who's directing the upper management, the direction of the company, all this stuff, right? So like, I think that is, to me, that is even a sign that like, Jesus, they can't get anything properly. I don't think eBay is a $1 billion company that cannot get anything right. And I think that's I think that's good for dropshippers kind of, but they also don't have what is their value proposition. I don't think how they're growing their company is, and it's a publicly traded company, right? So like at the end of the day, they're looking for profits. But like when you're going up against Amazon, it just seems like they're just taking cues from Amazon. And I don't know. And I look at it differently because I like that type of thing. There are a lot of people that just drop ship and just don't really care about, like, you understand the platform, you outline drop shipping, but don't care about the bigger picture. And I think the bigger picture is very important, right? Because we are dependent on our livelihood on this, the platform, but on the people that are leading the platform. But that is telling. The fact that like this entire time I've dropshipped on eBay, they've changed so much. And like they've changed and then unchanged. Like they've made a decision on certain things. Like I remember when a neutral feedback would be go against your seller standard. And that was like that for like 6 months. And a ton of people got kicked off the platform because of that. And then one day it was just like, okay, it doesn't matter.
I can think of 2 examples that I've been really frustrated with eBay. So maybe like a year ago they said, okay, no more watermarks. No more watermarks on your images coming this date. So I spent like hours, maybe even like tens of hours, like fixing all my images, and then they didn't do anything about it.
Nothing.
I was pissed.
Like I remember freaking out.
Yeah.
And you know why I always you should act, but this is the fucked up thing about eBay, right? So I remember this had to be 2013 or 2014, right? Before you could have just returned, if someone bought the item and it went out of stock or the price went up or down, you just refund the money. No one's it didn't matter, right? So I remember eBay saying that you're going to have the item in stock, or that's going to like affect stuff, right? And like this is back in the day with like DS Domination, all these groups and stuff, and everyone was like, nah, eBay not gonna do none of that. That's too much.
That's too difficult.
It's too difficult. That doesn't make any sense. Everyone, and then maybe half the drop shippers stopped drop shipping because everyone's just like, I remember Greg, the dude who introduced me to drop shipping. We were partnering on his store, and I was like, dude, this is going to be fucked. And he was like, but the difference between me and Greg is like, we are partners on this dropshipping store, and this is all the money I'm making, and he had a job. So even if it went down, it was just like, whatever, he's still making $60,000 a year, whatever, right? So like, and I'm in Nicaragua, he's in the States, so he's now making double the amount of money, so he's happy. But like, I'm like, dude, this is fucking serious. And then I scrambled and held it together, but all the other dropshippers kind of fell, like, thousands of people lost their businesses. So after that experience, every change that eBay says, I'm just like, I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, over the past 3 years, they're like, what's the other example?
The other one was PayPal's fault. They said they're going to not return, their transaction fees if the order gets refunded or canceled. I was like, are you serious? Like, of course we can handle that, but it's like a huge hurdle. Like, you're just going to have to eat a lot of losses.
Right. It changes everything with the metrics and profits.
And the way they worded their letter, it was just like really offensive. Like, if you don't like this change, then delete your account or something like that. And then the date comes and nothing happens. So
So that's a perfect example. These $1 billion fucking company, mm-hmm. and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Yeah. And how could you? It's one thing if you make a change. Like, the amount of people this change had to go through before it is executed on the fucking platform, for you to just be like, you know what? That was a mistake. Like, no one thought before this shit that it was a fucking mistake. But yeah, eBay is just... Anyway, so hopefully I just wanted people to get like the different perspectives, what it takes to do the different. And I think you are one of the few people that have real... There might be no other human. Seriously, this might sound crazy, but there might be 5 other humans on Earth that have the actual experience and time in the 3 different types of drop shipping. Because even with the people online, it seems like all the Shopify guys only do Shopify, and all the eBay and Amazon guys do eBay and Amazon. And there's no one in the middle that actually does all 3. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's interesting that you have done all 3 for this length of time.
Yeah.
So I just wanted this first podcast to be more about that. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you'll be here, so we'll go into more detail in the future about like eBay and specific eBay changes, or maybe Amazon to eBay.
Okay.
And just figure out maybe the training in the whole dropshipping space. But this one I want to focus on.
There's definitely so many things we can talk about, just like my motivation for why I kind of live the lifestyle that I do and continue to be consistent and run these businesses. And I guess like I don't know what the word is, the opportunity that I've had to be able to absorb so much training. Like, I take it for granted that I know so much just because I put myself in these environments with these people to be able to learn. And so, yeah. So
that's like you in particular, like we don't, you've been here a long time. We don't speak every day, all day, right? But there's certain things. Like, people are like, how come Preston's here so long? I was like...
Who said that?
That's just something that I could have remembered. Like, maybe 2 or 3 people. Like, some guys like, Preston's still here? Or like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just a thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like, I say hi to, like, your mother-in-law. And
right. Exactly. Like, when my mother came back, and she was like, Preston's still here? Like, I remember we did a video, and Roman was like, Preston's still here? So it's just a thing. Yeah. But it's interesting to see you just live and, like... This is your livelihood, and a lot of people outside, don't believe living like this is possible, mm-hmm. and like don't realize that there are people doing it for years at a time, right? Mm-hmm. So I think we have a lot of to talk about, and hopefully we could go into, you could give me some suggestions also moving forward and see what topics we could cover. All right. So thanks, guys. Okay, yeah. So remember to tune in. Our goal is to post 2 podcasts a week, Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. So tune in weekly. We'll also post the full videos on YouTube. So you can look up on YouTube to know Dropshipping with No Bullshit is a separate channel just focused on the podcast. All right, so have a good one, guys.